Well, it is my anticipation that we follow the rate committee recommendations, and that was the FCS consulting group that prepared the rate study, and that we would not raise residential fees for the next 3 years. That's what we were staffed to do, and that's what would be my goal, is that we would not raise those fees for 3 years. So this part of the collection process would not change.
I think they were talking about reducing them, but that would be the council's prerogative if they so chose to revisit this at some time sooner than 3 years. Okay, Walter. Thank you, Don.
Yeah.
Walter.
Regarding your question and Don's answer, the number of 35-gallon weekly service carts, the number of 65-gallon, 95, and the number of on-demands are, at this point, a best guess. Somewhat educated, but I'm a little concerned that people are thinking they can get by with the 35 when they may not be able to, and that we're going to need 6 months or a year of this system to let it settle out, and for staff to look at revenue and expense and to see if we're meeting our revenue need to pay for the solid waste collection system. So I would anticipate staff needing to come back within the 6-month to 12-month time period, if only to say our crystal ball was perfectly clear, we knew exactly what was going to happen, and we were right on track, and it's working perfectly well, or the number of these or number of that are drastically different from what we anticipated. It's causing us happy day excess revenue. We'd like to recommend a reduction in this area, or vice the other side of the coin. We're bleeding like the youth scholarship program used to be, and we got to have some relief. So I would anticipate this coming back to the council at some point in the not distant future, either for a report or for a recommendation regarding a fee change of something. Is that pertinent? Is that on point to your question?
That's on point. Thank you. It looks like Don has a response.
I want to thank you for recognizing that, Walter, because the Encore system has only been implemented since August of last year. We've still not seen the kids are just now getting ready to leave. We've not seen that transition just yet. We've been going extra miles, sending out mailers to every residence in the community, trying to right-size the folks, and Tim has been really busy these past 2-3 weeks, and he reported to Public Works Finance at the last meeting about how many mailings he's getting in return for the right sizing, because people set out more garbage and will be penalized, and we need to right size those folks than get the wrong size cart. And I think we're seeing that the effects of that, and the public information that Tim's been doing work on the weekends with the farmers market's been invaluable. And if Tim wants to add to that, sure can.
Okay, so we're, Council, yes, Tom?
I was just going to add that I think that if we were to add or modify a recycling system to match up with the cart system, or if we were to add a household composting system to our solid waste system, I think that we would see a sharp reduction in the amount of sharp reduction in the can size that people would need for their regular household solid waste trash. So, I think that it's over time we're going to, if we adopted a mixed recycling thing or a kitchen and yard waste kind of composting program, I think we'd see some huge changes in the other part of the program. So, again, I think that, we have opportunity to review this as we move forward. I've spent, in the past couple of months, I've spent time in other communities that have these roll cart systems, as most of the other council members have. I think we've seen pictures from a variety of cities now with the roll carts. And, I've taken pictures of the instructions that people have for putting out their containers. And there's a blue one and a yellow one and a black one, and this one has this and this. And I think in Portland, they put out solid waste, the mixed solid waste, every other week. And they use recycling and compost and all those kinds of things every week. And they get it to the point where they have a lot less waste that they're dealing with, a lot less true garbage that they're dealing with. So I think we're going to advance and really get off the dime here in Moscow when we start adding these other components to it and focus less on the trash part of the garbage and more on the recycling and the compost components.
Sue?
Well, for those people who do, it's wonderful, but we can't even get people to pick up their cigarette butts, so
Yeah,
I don't have a
that's
lot
true.
of faith in that at the moment. But speaking to the issue being the fees, and
Yep,
why
fees.
does it cost more to be on demand than just be on autopilot for 35 gallons or something? In my job as a bookkeeper for the winery, I was a compliance officer, and I would spend 8-10 hours just sending out every month to each little state the 30 cents I owed them, or even just to send out things that said I didn't owe them anything. And it was so time consuming. It's ridiculous. And so I appreciate the administrative fees. That's practically more than the gas and the picking up the trash and combined. So I would move to approve this fee resolution change.
Second.
We have Sue's motion and Tim's second. Further discussion. Wayne?
I actually just have a quick question for Tim. $6.40 if somebody puts an extra can or an extra bag out. Somebody that has a shop, for instance, and over a 4 or 6 week period of time, they've got a, I don't know, pick a size, 40-gallon garbage can that's finally gotten filled up with whatever their project has been of the scraps, then they could just drag that out there and that could be dumped and then pay $6.40, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Any further discussion before voting?
I just
Tom?
wanted to speak up one more time and say that I think the $12.95 from 10.15. So currently it's 10.15 for the same behavior. Put out trash when you only need it, when you need to put out trash. Right now it's 10.15. Whenever we start this, it's going to be $12.95. So that's a 27+% increase, and I just think that's too much for this. It should be 11 something if we're going to increase it. I think it's just jumping too much too fast, and that's that, and the fact that it's so cheap for 65 and 95. It just seems like it's the price per gallon is off, and those are my points of concern with this. But, in the long run, when we finally get to a system where we are dealing with recycling, I think we're going to go to that. I think we're going to get to that more advanced recycling system. I think we're going to get to a composting system, as I mentioned. I think that's going to change behavior a lot. They'll be able to put all their cigarette butts in a really small container.
Won't even pick them up off the side.
Or better yet, quit smoking, right? Okay. Any other discussion? All right. The motion is to approve this fee resolution as drafted. We'll start with the attachment. We'll start with you, Dan.
Aye.
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 Okay, that motion carries. So that's going to be Resolution 2013.
XX.
XX.
I
Yeah,
had to hold my nose and vote for the trash.
Sorry, hang on 1 second.
sure.
Fill in the blank.
People always could take their trash to the dump and add the cost of gas to $10 a load, and then the $12 doesn't seem like so much.
Yeah, that's a pound of carbon dioxide every mile.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
May I ask, Tim, I just wanted to ask a question because I have a dumpster, so I have not been paying attention. When does this start? When does this take effect?
The roll cart program scheduled to start August 1.
Okay. And so people should sign up for their carts before then?
The mailer that we sent out, we've asked people
Okay,
to
I didn't
have
get it
their...
because I have a dumpster, so.
We had their, requested them to pick a size by today.
I see.
Oops,
Okay.
Or will be assigned.
Okay.
I'm still working with a number of the trailer parks, but we've got a lot of phone calls today with last-minute folks that we were signing up over the phone and such, so we're getting
And
a
so
lot
if
of...
they
still
did not
call right
sign
now.
up by today,
Just send an email to
is
you.
it possible to, what
I'm
should they
just
do?
going to start compiling that data now, which we already have, just so we can put together a reasonable, educated guess at what sizes and numbers we need, so we can get a list to LSI.
So if,
Send mine in, but I'll take a 35.
see, look, if the council members haven't even gotten it together, so what is the options for people who for somehow missed today's deadline?
What we'll do is, the folks that didn't request a size, we will default them to a size nearest their current service.
Okay.
Okay, so this approval is for Resolution 2013-04.
Sending them an email right now.
Okay. Yeah, and the other good news is that we, those who have the little green tags, set curbside, can bring those into City Hall to the finance office and get their money back. Get credited, sorry, not money back, credited toward their trash pickup.
I bet I know people that'll still buy them.
Yeah, so there you go. Okay.
For the next month. Can I make a motion that we adjourn to executive session?
You could do
To not
that.
come back out of
Well,
executive session?
Well, actually, we are.
Or wait, to come
right.
out of executive, but not into what? Sorry.
What?
I was trying to make a
Right.
motion.
So I would entertain a motion for adjournment to executive session
Aye.
to pursuant to Idaho Code Section 672345 Sub 1 Sub B and Sub F, and we will be reconvening subsequent to that executive session.
Into regular session.
Into regular session.
Okay, can I
We
make that
will be.
motion? Well, as long as I get the 1B, 1F, then I'm
Correct. So we have Tom's motion,
Second.
Dan's second.
back into regular session.
We'll start the roll call vote with you, Dan.
Aye.
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 Okay, that motion carries, so we are adjourning to executive session. We will reconvene for regular session subsequent to that.